What do I think of macroeconomics at the Institute in Stockholm? You know, if you're a macroeconomist, there must be something in the water there that makes it ideal.
Assa Lindbeck laid the foundations of IIES, the Institute for International Economic Studies, some 50 years ago. His vision was to build a world-leading research institute with a research environment where young people really could thrive. So we hired some young and promising academics like Torsten Persson, Lars C.O. Svensson, Fabrizio Silibotti and Kjetil Storesletten are good examples of very successful careers that started at IIES. Today we have a very good cooperation with the Department of Economics at Stockholm University. So we have an exceptionally strong macro group, very much in line with Assa Lindbeck's original vision.
People like Per Krusell and Mittman, they're not just great creators of ideas. They're teachers. You know, everybody knows Krusell-Smith and uses it.
So after the first year where you learn the basics, you move on to the second year where you finally get to choose some field courses.
Another course that I enjoyed a lot was one about quantitative methods in macroeconomics. And that's basically using numerical analysis methods together with macroeconomic theory in order to be able to solve high-dimensional models. Okay?
We have a course that started 6-7 years ago, and the idea is to force students to start from scratch on a project. And the purpose really is to help students get over the first hump of doing their own work. There are a bunch of professors who try to give feedback, and by the end of the course they don't have papers, but they're on their way.
In my third year I got a scholarship to study 1 year abroad, and I went to Harvard. And that was true for many of my friends in the PhD program.
Environment for macroeconomists here at SU is really excellent, I'd say. There are like two main research groups within macro where we meet on a regular basis. One is the faculty and student macro group, where every other week we have a session where students present their work in progress. And then we have another more informal student-based research group where we meet on a weekly basis, and we can just help each other out on whatever things we're working at the moment.
In Sweden we have this fantastic resource for micro-founded macro research, and that I've been granted some access to, namely high-quality microdata for the universe of workers and firms in Sweden.
Here there's more of an open door policy. You don't have to book a meeting and then 3 weeks later you get half an hour. You can basically stop by, you can ask your advisor or other people.
You have this super difficult problem, it's a programming problem, how should I solve this and what type of method? Well, then you can go and knock on Kurt Meekman's door and ask him how he would have done.
I got a lot of very valuable advice how to write a good paper and how to focus on the important economic questions of our time.
The first 2 or 3 years in terms of supervision, for macro students at least, the supervision is kind of based on regular big group meetings. You present in a big group and the whole macro faculty is there.
I think it's actually the most important part of my job, to be an advisor. It is the end goal to get good jobs somehow. And that's why the job market is super important.
Stockholm is one of the few programs in Europe which can place students in top universities around the world, including the US. I'm extremely happy with my career path, and I really consider myself lucky to have started it at Stockholm University.
So we recently received a big grant that allows us to expand our PhD program to focus a little bit more on monetary policy and financial stability. These are fields we have been very strong in, but this new money will allow us to attract more students and also bring in faculty, guest faculty and maybe permanent faculty in these areas. It's a collaboration between my department and Department of Economics and the finance group at Stockholm Business School.